No girl ever touched my arm like that. It was electric. I guess I needed that first pubic hair to get the arm touch. My pubic hair and that touch on the arm worked its way to my mouth. Come here, I said. She followed me out the hallway doors, and we turned the corner. There was a secluded area where no one could see us. A couple of stairs that led to a janitor's office. The door was shut, and we sat on the steps. We stared into each other's eyes. I thought I was going to faint, but I did it. I reached over and I put my hand on her hand and let it stay there. She smiled. I couldn't hold her unblinking gaze, and she looked away. I was nervous. It was getting excited down there. Hand-holding was related to dating and being engaged. In the eyes of the congregation, we were too young to do either. I got scared and put her hand back on her lap. We sat for a few minutes in silence. Let's go, I said. Camille was my girlfriend. See, being a Jehovah's Witness doesn't mean you're a fag. I got home from school and Mom was awake. She had my note asking Camille to go steady. Betrayed. How in the... Mom told me about dating and courtship and how I wasn't old enough to date. I needed to be at least 18, and if I started dating Camille before then, it could lead to fornication, and I could be kicked out of the congregation, disfellowshipped. She told me that Serena, Camille's mom, was really upset about the note and how I was pursuing her daughter. I would rather have been in homeroom during flag salute thinking how there could be a time when I would go to a maximum security prison for my faith than talk to my mom about fornication. It was like she saw right through my pants to my long pubic hair. My pubic hair had led me in the wrong direction. Dad later called me into his bedroom. He had a Bible in his hands and that Kingdom Hall elder look in his eyes. I heard about Camille, he said. Yeah, whole news. Did you touch her? He asked. My heart raced. Did Camille tell him we held hands? How bad was that? I didn't answer, but my red face filled in all the blanks. If I was hooked up to a lie detector, it would read off the page, screaming, "He touched her. They held hands alone. Call the elders." I'm going to ask you again, and keep in mind that if you tell me the truth, Jehovah and the elders will consider it a confession, and it will be easier for you. Then he bent over close and looked right in my eyes while I tried to avoid a stare and look at the ceiling. Did you touch her? I burst into tears. He just watched me as I sobbed. I finally let it out. Yes, I touched her. Then waited for the wheels of justice to turn. He looked at me disappointed, heavy in the face. I could lose my position as an elder because of this, he said. I didn't realize how far the hurt would go because of my sin. I didn't think it would affect anything other than my pleasure or Camille's pleasure. Camille's mom needs to know. I nodded my head slowly. It was the beginning of the end. Where did you touch her? It was painful to tell Dad. By the stairs near the janitor's office at school, I said between sobs. Was it her breast or her vagina?
Oh my God.
I looked at him confused. You need to be honest with me, Gabe. I touched her hand. We held hands. And that's all we did. It didn't even occur to me that Camille had a vagina. I hadn't thought that far ahead. If I call Camille right now, she'll tell me the same thing, he said. Where's the lie detector? I'll pass with flying collars. Yes, call her, I said. You thought that I went to third base with Camille? I needed to know. Then he read me a few paragraphs from the youth book published by the Watchtower Society about holding hands and how it could lead to fornication and sins like fondling breast and touching vaginas. You're not going to call the elders? I asked. I don't need to, he said. I made a mental note of that for future reference. Thanks a lot.